Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday night of Let's Talk Benchrest with Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies. Tonight's going to be a little different. We got fewer people in the green room. Hasbro's traveling back from Mexico tonight. He sent in a message earlier. He's laid over in Chicago, so he'll be in the air about the time this show's taking place. So he won't be with us tonight. George from Southern Rifles setting it out, and also Rimfire Dave's setting out tonight. And last week he shared with us Rimfire Dave's going through some medical procedures this week. He's been in and out of doctor's offices all week. He's having a little procedure done. I'm not going to go into details about what he's having done, but I'd encourage you all to keep him in your thoughts and prayers as he goes through this situation. He's not going to be on here with us for a few weeks, maybe. You're not going to see any content coming out on his channel for a few weeks until he gets healed up. And I was talking to American Hillbilly before this show started, and I don't really want to come up with a target to shoot to designate to Dave, but here's what I ask: if you're a content creator and you're shooting videos and you think it's something that Rimfire Dave would be interested in, then tag him in your video so he's got some stuff to watch while he's down and out and making this recovery. All you got to do when you create your title on your video, just put hashtag Rimfire Dave, and that should tag him in the video, and that'll give him something to watch while you guys are making content, and he's on the back burner getting himself all healed up and mended. So that's enough about that. I will share with you real quick. Yesterday, I made an order for a barrel, and that's the final piece to my puzzle, so we can put together my first custom rifle, which is kind of what we've been talking about throughout these segments over the last few weeks. I'm actually going to get to build my first custom rifle, and I'm excited about that. But we got some guys in the green room, and one of them is a guest for tonight, and we're going to encourage all you guys in the side chat to ask questions if you got them. I know this guy's got a lot of knowledge about YouTube. He started out small, and now he's got a pretty good sized channel, and hopefully he can share with us a little bit about how you can do that, how you can get there. I know it's a little different. We usually talk Benchrest. We may get to talk a little bit of Benchrest tonight, but mostly this is going to be about YouTube, content creating, and maybe some scope reviews. And that is Cyclops Joe. If you didn't know who was going to be on tonight, that's who will be here. So first up from the green room, I'm going to introduce Justin Lowe. Justin, how was your week tonight or this week, buddy?
Pretty good week. Weather's a little up and down, but good week. Glad to be here tonight. Hopefully, learn something.
Yeah, Justin's been maintaining the trap machine at our range. It's had a little hiccup and went down, and he's trying to troubleshoot it and figure out the problems for that trap machine. So hopefully he can get that lined out. Um, Up next, from over there in Minnesota, we got Minnesota Mike from MN Shooting Sports in his own green room.
Evening, everyone. Happy to be here. Want to hear Joe talk a little bit about a lot of things actually tonight. So,
Yeah, I'm sure Joe is he's ready to tell us all about it. So, and next up is everybody's favorite American hillbilly, and that is Hillbilly Up. Unmute yourself, buddy.
Doggone it. That's why, yeah. Not the first time. Definitely not the last time I muted myself starting off the show. But, oh, man. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Good to be here tonight. We got a rock and roll side chat out there, and great panel, and a very special guest.
Yeah, man, I was looking over in the side chat, and people's already telling Dave to get better, and Somebody there congratulating Justin for shooting 50 straight. I forgot to tell people that. He shot a 50 straight tonight shooting trap. That's pretty awesome, man. So,
It
I
is.
guess the moment we've all been waiting for is that Cyclops Joe.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, doing good. Man.
So,
Yeah.
so you've been in the process of moving from one end of the state to the other, huh?
Yeah, I moved from East Texas, almost in Louisiana, to the Central Texas in the Hill Country.
Yeah.
And this is the new house here. So, yeah, we're at the middle of it. My wife's back at the old house. So basically, the gloves are off. She ain't here. Actually, she hears all the shit I say. You know, she sees stuff on the credit card. It's like, what the hell is this? You know, rent a midget, you know, and different crap like that. So, you know, she's used to the stuff I do. We've known each other since we was teenagers. So she got all the new off me a long time ago.
Oh, Lord. She has to be tough to put up with you.
Yeah, she's hell.
Well, man, we'll go ahead and get this started. I just thought it'd be a good idea to have you on tonight and just kind of talk about how you got started YouTubing and where you started at and where you're at today and what made you get into doing scope reviews, because I know that's not what you've always done. So, man, the floor is yours, and anybody in the side chat that's got questions for Joe, please ask them. We'll try to highlight them, and we'll try to stop him and get him to answer those questions. And you guys on the panel, if you got questions, jump in there and ask him questions. But appreciate you being here, Joe, and taking the time to do this. And
Oh, yeah.
The floor is yours, buddy.
Well, let's see. I started on YouTube because I'm lazy. And I was rebuilding old antique air guns, these old firework valves and Dianas and Anschutz and stuff from like the 70s and 80s. And anyway, I was posting on these forums and stuff. We showed rebuilding them and stuff. And they're not that popular here, but they're real popular in the UK and Australia and stuff. So I'd get every morning, I'd have 15, 20, 30 emails. How'd you do this? How'd you do that? And it's hard to explain through text how to do something. It's one of them things I'm monkey see, monkey do, So anyway, a buddy of mine, he's got a shop out in California. I was talking to him about it. And he said, man, start a YouTube channel. And when he said that, it'd be like right now if y'all told me, man, what you need to do is pull that shirt off and start dancing on TikTok. And that's the way I took it. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. What the fuck are you talking about? A YouTube channel, man? You kiss my ass. I ain't doing that shit. And he said, you ain't got to tell nobody, man. Just make the videos and keep them unlisted. Well, I didn't know what none of this meant. And he said, just on these guns, because there's one particular gun that's really popular, it's the Firework Valve 300 series. They're recoilless. And he said, make a video about how to take them apart, how to put them back together, and then a troubleshooting video. So that's what I did. And I made these 3 videos. I didn't have a camera or nothing. I didn't have a YouTube account. I didn't have a Google account. And my first camera, my wife had just won me a mini iPad that year at his Black Friday. That's when I started my YouTube channel Thanksgiving weekend, because she had just won this mini iPad, and I was talking shit to everybody I knew because that was the whatever series new iPad that year. I was calling all my buddies, how's that old iPad, bitch? I got the And anyway, I just took it out there, and I didn't have a tripod or microphone or nothing. And my tripod was a stepladder, and I had my little dog's stuffed animal, and that's what was holding it. And I just took the guns apart and then made one putting it together, and then made a troubleshooting video and put it on YouTube. Well, I'd been on there for about 6 months, and none of my stuff was public. But then it got to where every day I'd come in and it's like, hey, man, send me this link, send me this link, send me this link. And that got old. So I thought, piss on it, man. I'll just make the channel public. And around that same time, I got sick. I had prostate cancer. And it was fairly advanced. I'm cancer-free now, knock on the wood somewhere. But anyway, but I was off work on and off for about 3 years. And I had the cancer surgery. Then I had some hernias and they had to go back and do a bunch of stuff, a bunch of medical stuff. And anyway, I didn't have shit to do. And I was enjoying, I got hooked on YouTube watching them. And I was watching a bunch of the scope videos. And luckily, I had some real nice guns and some real nice scopes and stuff. And basically my guns were my savings account while I was off for so long. And we got like long-term disability at the job, but it's not like a paycheck. So I just slowly started selling off the guns, and I didn't have to get in fire sale hurry or anything. And I kept watching these scope videos, and I'm like, man, that footage looks like shit. You know, it's just, there's got to be a better way to do it, to get better footage than that. And I just started playing with it, and I decided I was just hard-headed enough. I wasn't going to quit till I figured out how to film through a scope and get good footage. And I had all the receipts at one time, but this is like 8 years ago, and I had spent almost $12,000 on cameras, phones, sport cameras, adapters, and everything else, trying to get good scope footage. And all my piss off money, man, I was spending on cameras to try to get better footage. And finally, when I figured it out, it's like, okay, now I got something, you know. And a lot of the scope companies started reaching out to me. So instead of it just being a money pit, which it is, you know, it finally took off growing, and it was growing real slow, man. It took me 3 years to get 1,500 subscribers. And it just grew slow, man, because at the time, the way I talk, I curse and say a bunch of dumb shit. And the other gun channels weren't like that, you know. And so this is the way I talk, man. I don't have kids. I don't have grandkids. You know, I'm not around kids. Me and my buddies, we go to the bars, you know, we go to karaoke stuff, you know. Like I say, when we travel, you know, we'll rent midgets to come over and strip for us and shit. You know, we do a bunch of real guy stuff. You know? When I was first on YouTube, everybody's like, well, dude, you can't say that kind of crap. And it's like, you sure I can. You know, so it helped because a bunch of guys that like just guys sitting around, the guys being guys, they all dug it, but a lot of the vendors don't. You know, there's I don't know, I could probably name 15 or 20 vendors that just absolutely refuse, absolutely hell no, we're not dealing with you. You know, because I don't know. When I started, man, I started seeing, I can get on the soapbox on this, but I started seeing all these guys really selling out, man. You know, something that I knew wasn't a good product, and they're just amping it up. It's the best ever, man. This is life changing and stuff like that. And it's like, it's junk. And I reached out to a YouTuber, and he was nice enough to email me and talk to me. And I told him, I said, hey, man, you were pushing this particular gun. The gun's a piece of shit, man. I've seen your guns on your videos. I know you know it's a piece of shit. And he said, well, man, you know, I got to make a living. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he said, this is what I do for a living. I said, do what for a living? He said, YouTube. And I said, how the hell you make the money doing YouTube? Because I didn't have a clue. My channel wasn't monetized. I never got a dime from nobody, you know. And I didn't realize that was my first introduction to don't trust everything you see. You know, a lot of these guys are just making infomercials, and a lot of the channels, the guys that I kind of looked up to when I first started getting serious about YouTube, now I look at them and I'm like, holy fuck, man. I mean, did you just check your nuts at the door? You know, God damn, man. You know, son of a bitch, man. I mean, you just no pride, man. I watched one the other day. I ain't gonna call nobody by name, but just
does he do a lot of Arkin videos?
Huh? No, there's one of them on there that has done a bunch of them. And actually, man, I've actually talked to one of those guys. If you're talking about Rex Typeware, I've talked to him on the phone one time, and we've got a real good friend in common. But a lot of the guys, and not just Rex with Arkin or some of these other guys, but some of the guys go in so hard with a company that's paying the bills, man. It's I don't know. I just feel like after a while, man, it's real easy to lose your credibility. And I never wanted to do that. So to this day, man, I mean, guys can believe what they want, but I've never taken a dime to make a video. Not a dime. I make money, but I don't take any money up front.
So going back in the side chat here real quick, Joe, Appalachian asked if you found a good place to shoot where you've moved to, and I believe in one of your most current videos you shared with us, you have joined a new range, correct?
Yeah, I did. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to talk about what it is, which is real common.
Okay.
And there were 3 ranges here locally that when I went out to talk to them, they're like, "Hell no, man! You're not filming on our range."
We heard you.
You? Oh hell no! We ain't doing that shit. So,
When
but
you
these guys,
when you showed up to talk to them, did you have your little toy with you?
I pretty much have it with me all the time. One of them, if I don't have a penis pump, I have something, some type of anal appendage of something. I try to mix it up. I try to mix and match. But
The last the last video, the Seiko versus the Kimber, it really did feel like to me when watching that, it felt like you kept looking over your shoulder like, are the new people, it's a new range, like are these people looking at me like I'm stupid or something or what? Was that what was going on in your head? Because it really did feel like you were constantly
well,
looking over your shoulder like you thought people were watching you or something.
no, I give a shit if anybody watching me at the old range. A lot of times, guys, I'd be filming the video, and sometimes there's 5 or 6 guys behind the camera.
Right.
That kind of a local range dude. And they want to watch me make videos. But no, what it is, there's a bunch of older than me, and I'm in my 60s, silhouette shooters. And when they show up, they're older, so they go down range and hang their silhouettes and stuff up. And I don't ever want to be that guy that shuts down that part of the range because I've got the cameras rolling. So I'll be watching. If I see these guys, if I see them pull up, I'll get up and shut all.
Take a time out.
Yeah, I'll shut it all down then because I don't want to. Like I say, and sometimes, man, I'll go out there thinking I'm going to film 3 or 4 videos, but those guys are there. They're having to, they're older, they're broke down, they're having to ride down range and get their stuff, and they're slow and real meticulous and stuff like that. So it's, a lot of times, like I said, there's other stuff I want to do while I'm out there, but there are times, man, I'm lucky to get 1 video shot, and there's other times when I film scope stuff, just the scope footage, I'll go out and I'll film 3 or 4 at one time. And that way later I can film the up close on the turrets and do the voiceovers and all that kind of stuff. But I film in batches. And I don't film in chronological order. I film in batches. And I went to a movie set one time and watched the way they filmed it, and it was like, this is the end of the movie, but it was one of the first things they filmed, and I'm like, why don't you film it in order? And now I get it. I get all the up close footage at one time. I get all the scope footage on one day. When I'm doing voiceovers, I'll have a day where my sinuses aren't bothering me so bad, and it's quiet in the house. And I'll do all the voiceovers and stuff like that. And then I edit in batches like that too. Sometimes I'll have 8 or 10 videos that need to be edited, and I'll, get a bug up my ass and see something that inspires me in somebody else's videos or a movie, and it's like, I'm fixing to try that shit in mine. I'll come back and edit. But usually I'm about 2 to 3 months ahead on my videos. That are on YouTube, just waiting to be released. And I found it helps a lot with the algorithm because it gets to look at the video. The algorithm, for guys that are not on YouTube, the algorithm looks at the videos constantly, whether it's live, whether it's private. And the more the algorithm can look at your video, the more it knows, like, if I'm making videos about tampons and throw pillows, they don't want to send it to you to recommend because you're going to look at it. I'm not going to watch a tampon throw pillow video, so you're not going to watch it. So the more the algorithm knows what the video's about, the more they know who to present the video to, and it helps you. It helps you as a video creator. But I've had so many strikes and demonetizations now. At one time, I was growing at a rate of about 500 subscribers a day. The channel was really, really growing. And I made a little short, 100% my fault. And the little short got me kicked off YouTube for a month. It basically locked my channel, demonetized me for 13 months. got 2 strikes out of it, and it was. I thought it was hilarious, man. But anyway, YouTube did not. Because,
YouTube didn't think it's funny.
no, it was about our last vice presidential candidate.
Oh, you can't do that.
Oh yeah, not the self-proclaimed, queen of everything. The wokest person that ever lived. No, you can't say nothing bad about that person. So yeah, like I say, it really. I mean, it torpedoed the shit out of my channel. It still hadn't recovered. And then a few weeks back, a friend of mine, Nick, that has what is something mountain sport. Anyway, but Big Timber Lodge, that's him. But anyway, he's got a friend that worked at Google, and they went back and they certified my channel. Like on my channel, there's a little check mark. Well, supposedly to some advertisers, they look because you have to have 100,000 subscribers and be verified as a YouTube whatever to get that check mark. So it's supposed to help you with potential sponsors later. If you have a gun channel, you don't want YouTube looking at your channel, because they go through it with a fine-tooth comb and they start demonetizing videos and age restricting this stuff. And he did that as a favor, and I thanked him for it profusely, but because I didn't know anything about that. But it hurt the channel again. It gave me another huge setback because I've got, I think it's like 200-something thousand subscribers. And by most metrics, I should be growing at about 100 to 300 subscribers a day. Yesterday, I got 3. The day before that, I got 6.
And then you lost 12, and then got 3 more.
And the last time I got demonetized, I lost almost 1,000 subscribers.
Oh,
and, but it's wild, man. And a lot of guys bitch, but it's their ball, it's their court, it's their playground, it's their rules. And one of the things when I was a kid, every time I got my ass whooped, it was my fault. And on YouTube, every single time I got demonetized or something happened, it was my damn fault. It wasn't like they jumped up and picked on me. Let's fuck with the one-eyed white boy. It was just the one-eyed white boy did some dumb shit.
So over in the side chat, going back up top, Pick had a question, Joe, and it's got amounts in it, so I'm not going to post it back up here, but it says, what's the best 25 to 30 power optic in your opinion for 700 to 800 beans? And if you mention a vortex, I will unfollow you, he says.
Is he talking? Well, if it's fixed power, and I just bought one. As a matter of fact, it's still in the box back there. I bought it used. I just bought a Weaver T36, and
that's a good scope.
Yeah, they're tough. I got it for $3 1/4. It's silver, and it came with rings. So I got that.
Cheap.
I've got I used a lot of the Leupold fixed powers. I got a 24-16. I've got a couple of the FX3 12 powers and stuff like that. But if it's variable power, and I hate to say it because I am an affiliate for them, but I honestly think the 7 to 35 arcing is almost impossible to beat. Now, optically, it's not. But mechanically, it's indestructible, So and that's on a lot of my guns. And for guys that don't know, I don't pay for optics. The scope companies give me scopes, so I average 1 scope video a week, 52 weeks in a year. So I got scopes coming out the ass, but I use a lot of the Arkans because I can throw them on there. If something happens to it, I haven't lost a lot of money, and they just work. They repeat. They hold zero, and I've got a couple of scopes that optically are way better, but they won't hold zero. I'll go out there with them and think, man, yesterday it was dead on. Now today it's 2 inches right, and nothing changed. The wind's not blowing. What the hell is this shit? And when a scope, a car, or a bitch that I can't trust is useless. It just is, man. It just is. It's useless, man. When I turn the key, that motherfucker better start. Every time I walk out the door, I don't want my old lady over here, running trains on a bunch of local bikers. It's like, hey, man, I need to be able to trust something. And
So
yeah,
we're
I really like the Arkans, man, and that one particular scope, the 7 to 35 by 56, man. It's not a small step over the 5 to 25. It's a big leap for a little bit less money. And while we're talking about that, man, when I got sucked into saying Rex's name a while ago, bear in mind these guys are making a living. They're trying to do this for a living. The affiliate money that they get from their links, man, that's how they pay their bills. So I don't begrudge any of those guys. It's the guys that just run. There's a 45-minute video, and they're already monetized. So every 5 minutes there's a damn video coming up, which they don't have to do. You don't see them on my channel because I don't select to use them because they irritate me. So I don't want to irritate nobody else. But during this damn video with all these commercials, they're also trying to sell, to this place that works on guns or this particular holster or these armor plate. I've seen more damn armor plate videos than I can tell, an advertisement. It's like, God damn, man, how many of you guys are getting shot at out there? What the fuck is going on that I ain't hearing about? They are having to wear all of this damn armor plate. Because me, if I feel like I need armor plate, I ain't fucking going there. No, dude, I'm staying at the house. Y'all go ahead. Joe, grab your armor plate, man.
No kidding.
We're going to the club. I'm not going to that fucking club. Y'all go ahead.
Armor plates and fat boys don't go long very good.
I don't make them big enough.
Oh man, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Oh, Joe, how'd you come up with the titty twister?
Oh, I was Val that owns Val Out Optics. Great dude. Anyway, he was the first real high tier scope company that ever took a chance on me. And we've been out shooting, go out to eat and stuff. He's just a hell of a good dude. We've become real good friends. But he wanted me to do a video on that Val Daughter Recon G2 that he had personally designed it and been spending years on it. So he told me, man, try to do something different with it. And I said, okay. So anyway, I took it out to the range, and I can't remember the first time I did it. I think I used a belt or a little billy club or something. But I just got it out there and started dialing. I just whooped the living shit out of it and just grabbed the turrets and started doing it like this. And I sent him the video. He's like, hey, man, they're not meant to do that, right? You told me to do something different. So I treated that damn thing like a Detroit hooker, So anyway, but it would return. And I tried that a couple of other times with some value scopes, and they wouldn't come back to zero. They just won't do it. I mean, those things they're not delicate, but pretty precision. And I was sitting there and I thought I got to call this something because I started one and I said, that's the fire starter. I guess I'd watched Castaway that week or some shit. And I thought I got to have something for this other where I'm doing two of them. And I got a cousin when we was kids. He was talking about his girlfriend. He was talking about her titties, and he said he was doing like this. I said, are you dialing Japan on the radio or are you playing with the food? What the fuck is this? What kind of nipple twisting shit is this? So I just put that in the video. Now what tickles me is to watch like a Moondog. I think he's been on there with y'all.
Yeah.
And now he calls it the nipple twister. Some other guys say nipple twister. They tickle the shit out of me that caught on,
Yeah. So I think this goes back to you had a video showing a rifle that maybe you had restored or something, and Minnesota Mike throwed something up here in the side chat, said he wants you to restore his Walnut Hill.
Yeah, no, I don't work on guns. I don't do any of that anymore, man. My arthritis is so bad.
Well, I think that's a compliment because you're doing a good job on yours.
Oh well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
The woodwork.
Yeah, the woodwork. Yep.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's mainly I tell guys, man, it's mainly just using sand and blocks. Make sure everything stays squared up. And don't be afraid that, you get to finish on there, man, that looks beautiful, and then go right back to sanding on it again, Just keep sanding, and then eventually it'll turn out like a piece of granite. It just takes a long time.
I don't know if you caught it or not, but Hasbro said, tell me all about the algorithm, looking all the time like looking at me and not Chad. He's talking about last week he got kicked off of my show and I didn't.
Yeah, it's at one. There's been twice that I found like a little cheat code on the algorithm, and one time I'd done a video, and there were these other two YouTubers. We all our channels about the same size. They're both still on YouTube. But anyway, I did a video and I linked their channel in the description. Well, not only did that video just freaking take off, but their channels all of a sudden, man, they're getting 400, 500, 600 subscribers a day, and mine did too. So I told them, and they did the same thing. They made a video and put mine in the other one. Anyway, we all kind of, and for about 2 weeks, within about 2 weeks, we each got about 10 to 12,000 subscribers in about 2 weeks. And because for whatever reason, YouTube was promoting the shit out of our channels because we cross promoted each other like that. And then something changed the algorithm. It just went right back to normal.
Well,
You know,
you told me on the phone the cheat code was wearing a thong underwear.
that helps. That helps.
I didn't
You know.
know. Okay, so there's another one. Okay.
Yeah, I think honestly, man, I think the only reason I like to think, man, part of the reason my channel's grown is the scope footage. I take a lot of pride in that. The footage I get, the rest of it, I don't take myself serious. You know, I mean, hell, but I just I like to think maybe it grew because I'm not as politically correct as some of the other guys. And there are a lot of guys, man, say, hey, man, I can't watch your channel, man. I got my granddaughter in my lap. It's like, the fuck are you doing watching a gun channel with your granddaughter in your lap? You know, you sick bastard. But I don't know, man. But I think a lot of it's just, you know, I talk like guys. This is the way me and my buddies talk. You know, I don't know how everybody else talks. You know, but this is the way the guys that I run around with. This is just the way we talk to each other. You know, we don't go up and hug on each other. It's like, I love you too. You know, we're not gonna tell each other that. It's like, God damn, man, your breath smells like ass. You know, what the fuck have you been doing? You know, that's just the way we talk to each other. You know, so it's different. But yeah, there's I wish I could find another cheat code on the algorithm, but I thought it was shorts for a long time. And a buddy of mine that's got an incredibly great channel. He went way into the shorts. Now he's got a couple of million subscribers, but he and I can release a long form content video on the same weekend, and mine will get more views than his does, even though he's got 10 times the subscribers. Because the short people that watch shorts don't watch long form content, and vice versa. You know, it doesn't translate over. And then there's channels like Josh from Pursuit of Accuracy. Josh has got a great channel. He's cool as hell too. But Josh doesn't do shorts. His is only long form content. And he's got about, I don't know, 20% of the subscribers I got. But if we both put a video out on Saturday, there's at least a 50-50 chance he'll get more views than I will. Because I don't know, man. He doesn't do shorts, and his channel's really good, and he didn't have as big of a learning curve as most of us do, because most of the guys, especially gun channels, they don't know shit about cameras, they don't know shit about audio, don't know nothing about editing. You know, they're not tech people. And like somebody like Josh that, you know, already knows about cameras, already knows how to edit, already knows the behind the scenes stuff, man, you've got to, it's not a minor amount that you've got in front of everybody, man. It's a huge, you know, stuff that's going to take the rest of us several years to learn. You already know, you know, and channels like that do the Jim at Backfire TV. And he's got a good channel, but like he's got a full-time cameraman. You know, he was already doing a bunch of other stuff where he's good in front of the camera. You know, he already knew all the ins and outs before you ever started. So, and he's really good. You know, don't get me wrong. These guys are really good, but they got an advantage over somebody like me, like Chad. Chad, sorry to put you down there at that level, you simple-minded fuck. But we don't, you know, but no, we don't know shit about microphones and cameras and shit. I was showing them this camera before the thing, and I mean, I took that camera out like I got a dick extension. You know, that's a big deal to me. But when I first started, I started with this, just like everybody else. You know, you start with a phone, and I'm old, so I don't want to learn new shit, and you know, having to slowly get better. And there's channels right now, guys that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They've never bought a microphone. You know, the lighting sucks, the editing sucks, and stuff like that. But they crank out videos every day. And because they're cranking out videos on a consistent basis, the algorithm likes it, so they promote their channels. You know, and the more, I don't know, the more you post, the faster your channel will grow. Like I could post twice a week, and I post every Saturday morning. I could post twice a week, and it'll grow twice as fast. But I make the money off of YouTube from the affiliate links and selling the scopes and stuff like that. And for the companies that are sending me $1,000 scope to make the video, and the scope is the payment, I don't want to drop it in the middle of the week on a Tuesday at 11 in the morning. I want to try to give them the best opportunity to get the most eyes on it. They trusted me, so I want to earn their trust. So I just put one out every Saturday. Because I'm not the number of subscribers, the way the channel's growing and stuff like that. After a while, you can make yourself crazy looking at that stuff. And now I just try to focus, man, on putting out good content, putting out stuff that I can be proud of, and putting out stuff that's fun to me, that's entertaining. Because I try to make videos that would entertain me. So that's what I try to do. Like in the edits, man, I'll put like little crazy sound effects and stupid shit like that. And it eats up a lot of time. It's real time consuming doing that, but they're more entertaining to me. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah. And don't sell yourself short, because, even though you started out like that, your video quality is great. Your editing quality is great, and I mean, I think it does make a difference on down the road. Maybe, but
yeah,
that you do a great job with all that.
Oh, thanks.
So my problem as a new YouTuber is, of course, I'm trying to shoot challenge targets, and then I'm showing off firearms that that are mine or whatever, and but there's so many challenge targets coming out that if I shoot one today and I don't schedule it until, like right now, I've got videos scheduled all the way into July.
Uh-huh.
And if somebody releases a target today and I shoot it today and I don't schedule it until July because I don't want to bump it in front of my other videos, well, there's already new targets out by the time that one hits the stage. So
well, I have videos that are like some of the kid versus the Seiko video.
Yeah.
Or the Kimber versus, that Seiko's been gone. I mean, I sold it a while back.
Yeah.
So that wasn't time sensitive, but there's a scope coming out pretty quickly, and that video's done. And I'm just waiting for them to officially release it. And just as soon as they do, then I'll cut in front of it. But most of the stuff that's scheduled on down the line for me are stuff like I don't know, man, where I'm shooting a 22, or I'm comparing, like, I got a video talking about my camera setup. A lot of guys have been asking about my gear I use. That video's already done. It's on YouTube. I got a series that I filmed where basically I'm just answering scope questions that are in the comments. And I've got 3 or 4 of those that are waiting on YouTube. So there's no rush on any of that. And I don't shoot the challenge targets anymore. And I used to, but it became, for me, I don't know. It wasn't helping, and all I was getting was negative feedback. Guys are like, "Hey, man, how many times did you shoot it?" And not everybody's got a $4,000 Rim-X. It's like, what do you want me to say, man? Get a job where you don't have to ask somebody if they want to supersize it. Get a damn job, man. Get another part-time job. Rake a yard, man. Do something. It's like, damn, I'm 62 years old. If I can't afford a decent rifle, then I already need my ass kicked at this age.
Yeah. And again, There's so many challenge targets coming out, and I'd love to shoot them all, but I can't find the time to shoot them all. And then people gets offended because you're not shooting their targets. So it's
Well,
just,
and like I say, I just got out of it. The last one I did was not this Easter. Easter before, I shot it with a Kimber. It was Elijah's Easter egg one. I shot it with a Kimber and I shot it with the Rimx back to back. I mean, just turned the cameras on and went to filming. I cleaned it with the Kimber. I cleaned it with the Rimx. And I never even posted them, man, because it's like, and then guys started shooting it, doing it more than once. They shoot it once, they shoot it again, they shoot it again, they shoot it again. And it's like, it's not like, man, we're playing for cars or money or some shit like that. It's like for bragging rights. And it's like, I give a shit what anybody thinks. It doesn't, it's not, that started taking the fun out of it. And like I say, I'd have too many guys, well, man, I'm out here with my, $149 Savage with a Weaver K4. I can outshoot you. It's like, well, go ahead, man, Mr. Big Bad Motherfucker. You guys put the shit on video. Let's see it. Well, my 1022 with Walmart ammo will do that. It's like, I'm sure it did one time, but the other 600 groups since then, it hadn't done it since. Anybody can shoot a flute. I got a 100-yard target that's the size of my literally smaller than my fingernail. I got this shit on camera. Have I ever duplicated it since? No. Had I done it before, I had it 3 shots. I'd never done it with 5. Will I ever do it again? I don't know. I hope so. But I did get the shit on camera, and it's like, there it is on camera, so I don't know.
Brian Egberg, I think I said that right. It says, any of you boys use the new Discovery scopes? Mine's been flawless. Have you had any dealings with Discovery? I know I had one, and it was a second focal plane, and I love the scope. I let it go on a rifle, and I wished I didn't because they discontinued it when I went to go get me another one, and now I can't get it. So, but I like Discovery. Joe, have you used any Discovery optics?
Hell, let the other boys answer first, and then I will. They ain't had a chance to talk. I'm sitting there, like,
Mike
shut the fuck up, man. Let somebody else talk.
Mike or Justin or
The same experience that Chad had with the same scope. It seems to be a really good optic, really clear. I don't know about tracking or anything like that. I didn't put it through the paces with that though.
But have you had a Discovery optic scope?
Yeah. They sent me one. It was their 3x9, and they're wanted like recoil test. They're like, for hunting and stuff, how's this gonna do? And so I stuck that dude on a bullpup shotgun, shooting slugs at 50 yards, and it held up good. I mean, as far as their higher powered ones, I've not shot any of those, but yeah, the one that they sent me that I shot, it held up good. I mean, it's on a deer rifle right now, 30-30. So
Mike, have you shot any Discovery optic scopes?
I have never had my hands on one yet. Yeah. So no, I'm a Vortex boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, I thought that light behind you looked gay. Oh, I recognize you, man, from the pulling poke. Oh, I hear you, man. You were in there with the assless chaps. I know I missed myself. Oh my God, man.
All right, so real quick, guys, we're going to take a little break right here, and anybody wants their name called out in a side chat, let's type the word scope in tonight. And Hillbilly, if you don't care, I'll let you call out the side chat. The word is scope.
You betcha, buddy. Oh man, yeah. They're starting to come in now here. And so anyway, up first we had Vince Ratliff. We got Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies out there. We got living in the Southwest Virginia, Steve. Welcome, buddy. We got Pick out there. We got lowballing outdoors out there. I see Chris Lang out there. We got Rimfire Super Dave out there. We got Fuku Wati. Hey, Boom. How you doing, brother? We got Ron 2A Matters. We got Southern Rifle out there. Oh, and there's Pick again. And I know there were some other people in here earlier, but so far that's all the people that's typed in scope. So,
Yeah. So,
welcome.
Justin, you got any questions for Joe?
No, but I know something I learned tonight that I'm gonna try on one of your rifles before the next match. I'm gonna try the titty twister
No.
right before the match starts.
Why's it gotta be my rifle?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to mine.
Well,
Oh.
hang on, man. I'm sorry. The backlight that this guy chose. Oh my God! But try it on something that he's got. Because he.
Yeah, I ain't doing it on mine.
Yeah, don't do it on none of yours. But
Yeah.
real quick, when you asked about Discovery, I don't do any Discovery videos. And years ago, when Discovery first started, I ran into a problem with them. And it's probably a whole different set of people now. But it was one of them once bitten, twice shy. And I've heard nothing but good stuff about them. But I'm just not interested. And the other one I get asked about a lot is the DNT-1. And it's such a close copy of the Arkin. And the Arkin guys, man, we don't just work together like that. We're real good friends. Like they live like 2 hours from me and stuff. We get together, go out to eat and shit like that. And they've never said don't do it. They give a shit. But it's such a close copy. I hate to do it. And there's other stuff like that. Some of the knockoff bipods, these knockoff Leopolds, like some of the gun shows here, you can go and supposedly it's a Vortex Gen 3 Razor for $400, and stuff like that. And I try not to do stuff that's such a close copy of somebody else's idea. And there's a buddy of mine, John, that owns Air Force air guns, and that's where I got started. But anyway, there's a lot of these. There's every year or so, there's another gun that comes out that looks so much like the Air Force air gun. It's kind of a little futuristic looking gun they've been making for 30 years. And somebody will reach out, hey, man, you want to do mine? It's like, dude, man, I mean, what'd you copy that off of? Duh. No, I'm not going to do that. And there was one a couple of years ago. I can't remember the name of the company. I don't think they're in business now, but they came out with one that was so close to a Leupold the way it looked. And like the ring was not gold. It was kind of a bronzy. It was probably as close as you could get legally to gold. And it was like, no, man, I'm not doing that. And I don't have a big relationship with Leupold or anything, but just like, no, man, come up with something different, man. Whether it's right or wrong, do your own thing. So, but yeah, and like I say, man, nothing against those companies, nothing against the optics. I watch all the videos too, and I hear a lot of good stuff about both. But I just, for me, it's like, and I'm blessed that I'm in a position I get to pick, but it's like, nah, and there's other companies like SIG. I don't think very highly of SIG Sauer stuff. Some of the little budget ones are okay, but some of their more high end, I think there's a lot better options. But one of the vendors that I work with, Optics Force, that's one of his main brands. So I'll do a video about the SIG, but like I did a video about SIG where it's just lies, like on the scopes they're supposed to parallax down to 50. They won't parallax below 75. Well, for guys like me that shoot rimfire at 50 yards, that's a lie, man. I bought this scope to do this thing and it won't do it, and it won't do it, and you won't fix it. Nah, I'm not interested. I burnt bridges with Bagara too over the same thing with the B14 Rs with the ejection problems. And you call them up, it's $1,000 gun. You call them up and they tell you, pull it out of the chassis and stake the ejector. And I told them, I said, man, do you know how fucking nuts I'd go if they told me, hey man, your new car, the door's kind of fucked up, so when you close, you have to kind of lift up on it and then close it. What the fuck are you talking about, man? You know, and the reps for Bagar, they called me up. Hey, man, is there anything we can do to make it right? It's like, fix the shit, man. It's a stamped, cheap little piece of steel. And I know when y'all did it, you know, y'all stamped out 15,000. I used to work in manufacturing. I know how that goes. You do it in batches. They suck. Fix it. You know, but they don't want to eat changing the die and changing, you know, to fix it. So it's like, you know, go in there and stake it or put a shim or something. It's like, no, man, I shouldn't buy a $1,000 22 and have to shim it from the factory. Now, yes, I'm not doing anything else with Bagar again. And I kind of behind the curtains there, and I'm not interested, man. And I got nothing against Bagars, man. You know, and nothing against the guys that work there, but the guys that are making the final decisions, that are deciding what we can spend and what we can't, to the designers. No, man, I already saw where your head's at. I'm out. You know, I'm just not interested in doing anything with them. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm a nobody. I don't honestly think if I make a bad video about a company that it's going to hurt sales, but it's not going to help. You know, so especially if it's something that people are seeing repeatedly, you know, that are honest and notice it and say something about it. So it's like, nah, I just soon not do it. I turned down a lot of opportunities because it'll be stuff like, I'll go to the shops or go to the shows and look at particular optics, and it's like, no, I'm not interested in doing that video. That I don't know if you guys have seen that new EOTech. It's about this long, little 3-9, and anyway, it's real cool looking. It's a neat little concept. The whole damn scope, seriously, is not that long. About 3 of my peckers, but anyway. But it's a little bitty thing, and it takes one little mount, and it's just neater and shit. But when you look through it, it's warped so badly that, or at least the one I saw, it was so distorted. And you know, they asked, "Do you want to do the video?" No, I don't want the scope. I'm damn sure. And you know, I told them, "Hey, man, if I do this video, I've already seen it. It's not going to help, and I don't want to spend hours editing and hours filming for something I already know is going to give me a headache. I'm just not interested in fucking with it." You know, I turn a lot of them down because you know, guys ask, "Hey, man, you know, mainly the stuff we see now on your channel is more positive stuff." It's like, you know, I put on an average scope video, I've got about, if it's about a 5 or 6 minute long video, I've got about 15 to 20 hours in it. Now, that sounds like an exaggeration. It's really not. It's an hour to the range. It's an hour back. It takes me an hour to set the fixture up before I ever push record. All right. And then all the editing, you know, going back, putting the text over it, you know, the sound design, the, you know, color treatment and stuff. It takes a lot of time. And it's going to take the same amount of time on the $50 Amazon scope as it's going to take on a Gen 3 Razor. I'm going to have the exact same amount of time. The difference is with the Gen 3 Razor, I can sell it. With the $50 Amazon scope, I'm just going to give it to somebody, or, you know, throw it in the trash or something when I get through with it. Even if I already know it's a piece of shit, I don't have anything, you know, the little new gun club, I'm doing my best to play nice. So I'm giving them an Outlier chassis, Vortex Viper scope, and some other shit. They're having their annual picnic thing. So I'm trying to grease a few palms with some goodies. It's kind of, okay, y'all know I'm gonna fuck up later, so you know.
Yeah.
Remember, I get a lot of free shit, and I can send it y'all's way. But you're gonna have to overlook the fact, you know, that I may show up with a stripper out here one day. You know, y'all just get used to it. You know,
might be Winnie the Poohing it out there on the range. Right. You never know.
That's it. You know, if it looks like if I'm sitting over here with a blanket on my lap and it looks like I'm scratching my nuts, I may not be, you know. Overlook it. I brought the blanket. You can't see. You can just visualize. So everything.
But that's another thing, though, Joe. I mean, like when you do a scope, the best thing you can do is do an honest review of what you're doing right then. Yeah. And if you already know it's crap, I mean, your viewers, I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody wants somebody to go out and buy a piece of crap after watching your video, I mean, thinking it's going to be something good.
Well, and the thing is, if it's something, I did a video on the Miopta here the other day. And the Miopta's got some, they're like Tract or GPO or several others that for the amount of money and the quality of the glass, they're way at the top. And, but the Miopta turrets are really spongy. So if you're one of these people that likes that real hard, the Vortex Gen 3 razor, I keep going back to because I just tested it here a week or so back. And I mean, it's like click, click, click every time it clicks. I mean, it literally feels like, you stuck a key in a lock. I mean, it's that solid. But on Mioptas, it's really, really spongy. Now, it tracked well and it repeated, but it's real spongy. So if you're one of these people that want a real tactile turret, you don't want this, but if you want the best glass in this price range, it's at the very top. I'd put it right there with Zeiss and Swarovski. I'd put it right there with them. But the turrets are not. No, they feel like guys that have had old Leupold VX2s and stuff, how spongy they were. I mean, they work fine, but they're spongy as hell. That's what it feels. But I just try to, say what it does. And I'm real picky about I don't care if it's got numbers on the parallax. I give a shit. But if the minimum on there says 20, it should parallax down to 20. It should go down at least to 20. You buy a Leupold. Chad and I were talking in before the stream, and I got a lot of fixed power Leupolds on my target rifles. If it says 50 yards, you can believe it'll parallax down probably closer to 30. They're going to always err on the side of caution to make sure that you got a little wiggle room. The thing I hated about the SIGs, they say 50 and they actually don't parallax down below 75. And I guess they don't want to miss that sale. But for me, you're missing the repeat customer. You're missing because you lied like a motherfucker up front. And I bought this scope and it don't work. It won't do what I bought it for. I'm never going to buy another one from that brand. When you could have just put 75 and, people that are going to be shooting 50 yards, like, okay, well, that's off my list. No need looking at that one. And I don't know, man. I don't like it when the companies, they know up front it's fucked and they put it on the market anyway. They know it's not right and put it on the market. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about that.
Sig Whiskey 3.
Yeah. I honestly, that they got a little $175, like 3 to 9 by 40 six scope. And it's a good little scope. It comes out of the same place, the little Vortex, the little Leupold Rifleman, they're all the same scope. But the higher end SIGs, and what sucks is I like the cosmetically, I think they look cool as hell because they look different, but optically, I think they're right dollar for dollar. I think SIG is right at the very bottom optically what you get for the dollar. I just do, and I'm not mad at them in any way. I just don't think they're a good buy. I just don't.
I never even thought about this before until Moondog was talking about it because he also does airsoft, and he says when a company says the parallax down to 50 or 25, these guys, some of them have quite a bit of money in their airsoft rifles, and they'll buy a nice scope to put on there. Well, if the parallax don't go down that far, they're really disappointed, because they need one that goes down, ways. And so,
yeah. Well, when Vortex first came on the market a long time ago, Leupold had their big, more magnified scope was the 6.5 to 20 VX3, all right, or Very 3. And everybody I knew had either that or the 6 to 18 that was prairie dog and then long range coyote hunting. It was a really popular scope. Well, Vortex came out with something, I don't remember what it was called, but it was something very similar, magnification range, 6 to 18 or whatever it was. Well, when guys went to checking it, they realized it wasn't. It was a 4 to 12. They just branded it 6 to 18. And because they wanted they didn't want to miss that piece of the market. And then in another line, there's the exact same scope, but then this one is 40-12, and it's the exact same scope. There's nothing different in a lot of the Amazon scopes are like that. It'll say it's a 10-60 when it's actually, a 6-24 or something. But nobody's gonna call them on it. When Vortex first came out, I mean, they had growing pains, just like everybody else does when they start. But there was one, I can't remember what it was, but it was just blatant. It's a damn lie. It's not even close, And but like I say, Leupold at that time, they had the 3 to 9 is always a big one, but their 3.5 to 10 was a big seller. The 4 to 14, and then this either 6 to 18 or 6.5 to 20 was their other big seller, and they wanted something to compete with it. And I mean, I don't blame them. I would too, but, like I say, it was just a blatant lie. It wasn't even similar.
That Leupold Fixed Power 36 I got is probably the best scope I own.
That's a good scope.
Yep.
Yeah, those are solid.
Yep.
And that 45 to 45 is a good scope too. It's just, it for me, because I don't, I've got vision in this eye, but I wear the patch to protect it because it don't blink or make its own tears or anything anymore. And it's damaged pretty bad. But because I've only got what I'm seeing through the scope with the really high power scopes, it's easy for me to shoot the wrong spot on the target, or like if I'm shooting in competition and it's too high magnification, the targets are all close to each other. It's easy to shoot somebody else's target. Especially if you're shifting around, it's noisy and the benches are so close. It's real easy to cross shoot, especially past 100 yards. It's real easy to cross shoot. So I usually use 36 and under, but the 45 is a good scope. I really like it too.
So the 36 fixed power that I got, I don't think it's something that you can buy anymore. Does Leupold still offer something similar to that, like the fine cross?
No, they got
the line, I think.
They got the 45 to 45. As far as I know, that's the only true Benchrest scope they make now. You can go on eBay and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
MAs, the FX3s, and all them, they're everywhere. But I don't think they make anything new like that. And as far as I know, the custom shop is still not open. And because you can get different options through the custom shop they don't offer in the catalog, and they'll have stuff at the custom shop that they don't even list at the custom shop that's available, but they'll build it for you.
Joe, because pretty much everybody that shoots at our range in competition, they're looking for a fine crosshair, typically a second focal plane. What's on the market today that fits that bill that would be a good 50 yard Benchrest rifle scope?
The second focal point, man, probably the best one out there that I know of is that's affordable, reasonably affordable, is the Delta Striker HD, whatever that is, 5 to 50, 10 to 50, whatever it is. It's real similar to the Vortex Golden Eagle, but it sucks. The Cytrons makes a shitload of great scopes.
Yep.
And I told you guys there's certain companies won't work with me. The guys at Cytron that run Cytron, great group of dudes. We actually go out to dinner when we go to some of these airgun shoots. And, I ask them about doing some videos for them, and they're like, no, you're not a good fit with our brand. Oh, okay, cool. And it's like, you guys want a beer? And they're just sitting there looking at me like, seriously, man, you're not mad? And it's like, why would I, man? I mean, not every bitch that turned me down at a bar is a lesbian or you're not a good fit with us. The guys that own Air Force, John, we're going to Utah, staying in a house together for a week. Him and the entire Air Force team, all right? I get jerseys. We all hang out, rent cars, fly together, do everything together. But I'm not on the team. I have the jersey, but I can't be on the team because it's like, dude, we don't really want you. You can shoot, but no, man.
You be in the penalty box the whole time.
I don't think so,
Get fouled out.
We'll get you a jersey. You can walk around act like you're, that you're part of the team, but deep down inside, no, you are not. No, you are not on our team. Hell, I got Athlon jerseys. I got Firebird Target jerseys. I got a jersey the other day. I wrote Apex trying to get a jersey from them and shit. Every time I see somebody with a team jersey, I write off to them, hey man, send me one of them jerseys. Now, we want you to do a video. Send the scope with a jersey. I want the damn jersey too. But the Cytron guys, they're great. I've done a couple of videos for them along the way. But I mean, we talk on the phone and stuff. Those guys are cool. Greg at Cytron, if any of you guys ever meet him, man, that's one of the coolest people that you'll ever meet. But I'm not a good fit with their company. So, yeah, man, I get that. I really do, because they're targeting the top water shooters, the target shooters and stuff. They're not targeting somebody like me, that's, going to be out behind the Kmart trying to, get a $20 hoe to jerk him off. We're not exactly in the same market here, But yeah, the Cytrons, they're great. And I forget about them because I don't have any, but yeah, they make That makes some good shit. But yeah, my favorite scopes right now, I still like the Weaver T24 and 36 because you can get one for about $400. I like the reticle that's in it with the floating dot. I like the used Leupold M8s. Some of the variable power Leupolds, I like them. The Delta is probably as nice. Falcon, they make a real good one. It's real similar. The Mark stuff is spooky good, but it's an entirely different price bracket. The Val at Valdata's got a 9-33, calls it a Spider second focal plane. That's a bad son of a bitch too. If I had the money, I'd own one of those. It is. I mean, it's that scary ass glass second focal plane. It's a badass. But there's some good ones out there. I don't think, if you're on a budget, I think the used Weaver T24s and 36s are probably the best buys. That's just my opinion. A lot of guys are like, man, they're too dark, or the eye box is too tight, or something like that. It's like, okay, why don't you go get that, $4,000 March, and make everybody feel bad. I don't know what to tell you. I can't afford those, so that's not what I use.
Yeah, I got a T24, a T36, and then I got that Leupold 36, and I know where there's one at in silver that I may go put in layaway.
Yeah, they're good scopes, man. I tell guys a lot, man. Honestly, guys are like, man, the Leupold tax. You have to pay a little more for Leupold. Well, that's true, but they employ 600 U.S. residents full time. Go USA! All right, they're actually designing and putting the shit together there in Oregon. And like me, because I buy and sell scopes all the time. All right, if I buy, say I buy a 45 by 45 and catch it on sale for $1,000. All right, I turn around 2 years from now, if I don't tear that sumbitch up, I can still get $800, $850 out of that. If I buy $1,000 SIG, regardless of what it is, a year from now, that $1,000 SIG is worth about $550 or $600. Trust me, nobody sells more used scopes than I do. I've got scopes in boxes back there ready to ship. They're already photographed and everything else listed, ready to list them. And certain scope brands, Leupold, Night Force, Swarovski, Zeiss, Tract, they hold their value better than certain other brands. Arkans hold their value like crazy because they never have enough in stock. So used, you can get your money back out of those. But like I said, there are certain brands that hold their value, and because I sell them all the time and buying and selling them, I'm careful when I spend my own money to only buy those brands that I know I can sell and get my money back out of. Same with the Rimfires. I don't buy the little budget Savages, Mossbergs, and stuff like that. I buy Seiko, Steyr, Kimbers. Now that may not be fancy, But I know when I bought it used to start with. I wait and catch the price I want, and I know when I sell it, I get my money back out of it. Because for guys that haven't had a YouTube channel, it is a money pit the first few years. I mean, I was probably 4 years into it before I ever made a dime. Before at the end of the year, I actually made more than I spent that year on YouTube. It was probably my 4th year before I did. And up until then, and even if I hadn't been spending so much money on camera gear trying to do the scope thing, it's just, it's, you know, and a lot of guys are, man, it's thankless. I don't care. Nobody's watching. I don't give a shit about that, man. It was eating up my spending money, you know, fast. It's just a grind, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like working on an old car, fixing it up. You're never finished with it, you know, and it's just constantly eating up money. And that's the way YouTube did for me until it finally started to where I could, you know, get ahead on it and start making some money on it, where I wouldn't having to spend so much money. Like this, like, you know, I showed the guys that camera with the lens and everything. That's about $6,000. These are $1,500. I got 2 of these. You know, the cases, the microphones, and all that stuff. It's just expensive as hell. Yep. You know, and until YouTube started generating money, and until I started getting affiliate stuff, I couldn't afford anything like that. You know, but now that I'm making money on it, I want to put the money back into it. You know, I'm ugly, fat, stupid, and not very well spoken. So I can't change any of that shit, but I can at least try to make the production value a little better, you know.
I see where Pick says he had a arcing issue with the side focus, and they were super cool about getting it fixed for him. And Rustic Rimfire's joined the side chat. He's better late than never, but hey, Rustic Rimfire, glad you're here. And I just want to say, YouTube, we're not trying to sell anything here. I know there's been a lot of numbers mentioned here, but we're not here to sell anything. And off topic, going backwards a little bit, Joe, I thought that you had kind of stepped away from air gun, but from what I was hearing a while ago, you're still dabbling around an air gun a little bit too?
No, I go to the events. I go to the shooting events and stuff. Most of the time I don't shoot. I've got a lot of friends, and it's just kind of a family get together, like July 4th picnic, but it'll last for a week. And but no, I don't shoot, and I don't do any air gun reviews anymore.
Right. I think you told me once before that was a dog eat dog world over there with the air gun.
It is. It really is. Well, and part of it is at the high end, there's Air Force and Raw, Day State, Ed Gun, and FX. And then there's like Caliber Gun and a few others, you know, they're 1% or 2%. But there's so few companies that it's super, super competitive, you know, and it's real easy. It's real easy to get too aligned with one company because there are so few, and it is so dog eat dog. Well, with the scope companies, you know, there's new scope companies pop up like weeds. You know, they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, DNT has made a real dent in the market. You know, 6 months ago there was no DNT. You know, and now they're getting, you know, they're doing really well, and I'm really tickled for the companies that start and do well like that. You know, Arkin was the same way. Blackhound was at one time, you know, where they made a big splash and, you know, jumped up and, you know, got a lot of, generated a lot of stir and stuff. And like I say, that's, and it's good for everybody that it's like that, because if it was just still Bushnell, Weaver, Leupold, and Vortex, it's kind of, well, nobody wins here, you know, for sure. The consumers don't, you know, so the more brands there are, the better. But for me, if I piss off the guys at Cytron, which I haven't, but if I piss one of these companies off, it's like, I don't give a shit. There's 100 other scope companies. Right. You know, if you're doing air gun reviews and you piss one of the major ones off, it's kind of like if I'm doing truck reviews and I piss Ford off, it's like, you fucked up. You know, because there's only 3 or 4 companies making pickups. So you fuck one of them off, it's like, and it's such the actual marketing guys, the guys that make the decisions behind the scenes on who gets gear, who does videos for them, who gets paid, they all know each other. They all travel. They all go to these same events, these SHOT Show, NRA, great outdoor trade show. They all know each other. They all communicate. And if you make a real bad name for yourself, they already know going into it, they don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
You
So,
know?
like around here where we live, if you go into an FFL, you're going to find Vortex and
Yep.
Ark and Leopold. Uh, until I started watching your channel, I never knew about Meopta or Delta or DNT or I never knew about any of those optics. I didn't realize that the market was so big.
Oh, yeah.
But because locally, if you're just looking on a local level, all there is Vortex
Well,
or Leopold or Arkin, and not so much Arkin. I mean, there's very few stores around here that carries Arkin, but
yeah, and I don't think anybody here does. Here it's Vortex, Sig, and Leopold. It's pretty much the three that you see. And but the guys at Vortex, I really like the Gen 3 Razor. I like the Gen 2 and the Gen 1 Razor also. Those are nice scopes. The little $200 Vortex is a good little scope, whatever it is, crossfire, crossbow, whatever it is. There's Vortexes that are in between the Venom 3 to 15 and the Viper 3 to 18. I may have them backwards. Those are pretty nice scopes. Everything else Vortex has got, I don't want it. I don't want anything they've got. I've wasted too much time. Too many times those scopes that went back to the factory, and the warranty should not be what I'm thinking about when I bought the scope. You know, when I bought that Rimex from Kenny, the first thing out of my mouth wasn't the warranty. All right, I'm already paying a bunch of money. It should be right. I shouldn't have to worry about it. I tell guys a lot. One time I was at the range, and my buddy's Vortex went out, and he wanted to get in touch with Vortex. He wanted to call him right then. He said, "Do you have the number to Vortex?" Well, all I had was the marketing directors. I don't have the regular Vortex phone number. I don't know how to get in touch with Vortex. And we don't have a data signal out there. There was a group of 6 guys that are experienced shooters standing there. I asked them, does anybody have Vortex's number? 4 out of 6 had the Vortex number. You should not have that number. That'd be like right now if 3 of us knew the best free clinic to get over syphilis. We should not know that. That's not something we should know. Hey man, what bond company will bail me out at 2:00 in the morning for soliciting? We should not know this. This is not good. You know. But the guys at Vortex, I mean, seriously, if you've ever called Vortex or meet one of the reps, you will never ever meet a better group of guys. You know, old school type customer service. Yes, sir. Thank you. You know, that kind of stuff. I mean, they're great people. You call them on the phone and they make you feel like, man, you're the only customer that we care about. You're the man. You're who we're here to take care of. And they're geniuses. They really are. Whoever started it was a diabolical genius. When they have a problem, they call us. We make them feel like they're great. We send them a prepaid shipping label. They send the scope back and they get a brand new scope. Give a shit what you do to it. We will replace it. Vortex has got you by the hand. Well, so does Leopold, Weaver, and all these other ones. They all do the exact same thing, but Vortex made them do that. Now, Leopold was good to start with, but a bunch of these other ones, Vortex made them do that shit. Mm-hmm. They wasn't doing it before, but now they got to. And Vortex, for the dealers, the margins they make more money on Vortex. And when there's a problem, they don't have to deal with the customer. You know, they just give them the Vortex number. I don't have to, you know. For them, it's like, hey, man, you're standing in front of my register. I can only wait on one guy at a time. You got a problem, I can push you over to the factory, and I can go right back to making a sale. So they took that away from the dealers so they don't have to deal with it, and the margins are real high. You know, they make a lot of money. And most of them, Vortex, Sig, Leopold, they're all real good about minimum MAP pricing, minimum advertised pricing. They don't let them go online, like, say, a Vortex Golden Eagle, or whatever that second focal plane $1,600 scope is, which, by the way, if you don't own one, don't. But if at Christmas time they did like Blackhound, and you knew every year Black Friday that scope's going to be for half price for a solid month, well, nobody's going to buy it any other time. You know, you already know it's going to be half price, and that also tells the people that are potentially shopping, God Almighty, man, how much of a markup do they have? that they can sell it for half price every year for a month. You know, well, they got in that $1,500 scope, $30. You know, how the fuck can they be doing this? You know, and it hurts them. Like Blackhound, it has hurt them that they've done that. You know, and they'll do it again this year. If you're going to buy a Blackhound, wait till Black Friday weekend, because they're all going to be, and not just 50% off, they'll be like 65% off for you know, several weeks. And like I say, it's great for the guys that need a scope right then. But right now, if I know I'm thinking about buying a $1,000 Blackhound, and I'm actually an affiliate for Blackhound. If I'm thinking about buying a $1,000 Blackhound, right now, when it's not going to be on sale, I'm not going to buy it for this reason. That scope's going to be brand new on sale for $500 in another 3 months. And everybody knows it. So when I get ready to sell this thing new, what's it worth? $350, and I spend $1,000 on it? Hell no, I'm not buying that. You know, like I say, it's just business, man. It's hard at times, but it's business. You know, and I don't know about you guys, man. I made my money standing on the damn factory floor, listening to damn machines run, and a bunch of, you know, and nobody, you know, it wasn't like I grew up with a trust fund or something, man. I had to, you know, I had to work for that money. And when I think about that shit, and when I retired, I just went to $20 an hour. So when I'm thinking about a $1,000 scope, there's 50 hours of me standing on that concrete. Now, that's without before tax or anything else, but there's a minimum of 50 hours, which is more than a week, to stand on that concrete, listen to that goddamn noise and breathe in the fumes, to buy that scope that I know is going to be worth $300 the day after I buy it. And oh, thank you. I'm good.
So,
You know,
the best warranty.
Oh, go ahead, Hillbilly.
I was just going to say, yeah, the best warranty is one you never need. But when you do call in, you know, it's nice to get like some real customer service. I'm talking a real customer. And I mean, I had a great deal with Arkin. When they're going to send me the scope, they noticed that my shipping location was different than like my card on file. And so I get a phone call. I'm like, hey, you know, this is Arkin. We're just wanting to double check and make sure, you know, somebody's not stole your credit card. You know, is this information correct? You know, and I mean, I appreciated that, because I'm like, you know, dang, you know, if somebody would have got my card number, you know, a lot of companies would just went ahead and sent it, you know, but they paid that special attention to like, hey, you know, something don't look right. Let's double check this. And I really appreciated it.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot better at their customer service. But when Arkin first started, there literally are two guys. That is Arkin. There's two guys, the Mike and Mike. That's it. There ain't anybody else shipping. There's nobody else doing it. It's two damn guys. And that's the reason for the longest time they've started to getting more and more help as they've grown. But there for a while, guys would call me up, hey, man, there's no phone number to call. And it's like, well, dude, they can either put scopes in boxes and inspect them and then ship them, or they can sit here and answer questions.
Yeah.
They can't, they don't get paid to answer questions. They're having to go this way, where Vortex is just the opposite. You know, they got, I don't know, you know, telling how many people at Vortex that just answer phones all day.
Well, the person that called me was the father of one of those owners.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm helping him out, you know, and I talked to him for 20 minutes. Great guy, you know, just a heck of a guy.
Yeah,
And
they're good dudes, man. And the guys at Arkin, man, this is just, I guess the guys won't stream up, give a shit if y'all know or not. Those guys seriously changed my life, man, because when my mother was sick and I had to move in with her, I didn't have any income. I'd had to retire early for my own health reasons, and then I was living with my mom. So I didn't have steady income coming in, and I was already an affiliate for Arkin. But these guys, man, knowing the situation I was in, and because my mom was sick and we already had a relationship, they were sending me money every 2 weeks, kind of prepaying on some sales and stuff like that, so that I could afford to stay with my mom and I could afford to, you know, go to the grocery store and take care of her and stuff. And, you know, that kind of stuff, you guys are all old enough to know, man, you know, it's rare in this world anymore. You know,
Yeah.
it's got, what can you do for me? What have you
Mhm.
done for me lately? And the fact that these guys did that, man, you know, they really changed my life, because the last couple of months with my mom, she was real coherent up till about the last 8 or 10 days. You know, she just started winding down like a clock. She was old and she was tired. But the time that I got to spend with her there for several months, man, you know, it's some of the best memories of my life. And if it hadn't have been for the Arkin guys, I couldn't have done it. You know, I'd have had to been working. You know, I couldn't have been there for that length of time and been able to spend that time with her at the end. You know, so I don't know. You know, everybody's got their own things, but I don't forget that. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of stuff you don't forget, man. When somebody helps you when you're down, man, you know, you don't want to. On down the line when things are going better, a lot of people are like, "Well, hell, man, yeah, you helped me back then, but what? No, you helped me then. That's all that mattered. You know, you
That's
don't
awesome.
have to help me no more. You've already done all you need.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, we do got a question over the side chat. Joe says, "What's your feelings about Night Force scopes?" And that's J Delta 22 in North Carolina. And I think, ain't that one of the ones you told me that said you wasn't a fit for their brand?
No. Night Force is just the opposite.
Oh, okay.
I go to an event, Night Force guys are there. Oh, Cyclops, get over here, man. They're hugging on me, man. You know, long lost cousin. Man, when are you going to do something with us? And I've been hearing this now since before COVID. But then when I get home and it's like, give us about a week, give us a call, email us, it's crickets. I never hear a word back, which is not unusual as a content creator, you know.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Night Force stuff, man, I think I got a real high opinion of Night Force. One, they're built like tanks. The glass is really good. The Attacker, I think, is one of the best scopes on the market that, you know, normal people can't afford. And you got to save up to get it, but people can't afford it. And they hold their value real well, man. And I think real highly of Night Force. And then, well, like I say, one of the other big things is if you buy an Attacker for $3,000, take care of it, you can get $2,600 back out of it. You know, when you're only losing, you know, 10 to 20% on a brand new sale, that's good. And Night Forces hold their value real well, and they hold their value for a reason. You know, they're solid as hell. They're a real good company to work with. If you ever have a problem, I had a problem with one of mine. It was 100% my fault. I dropped it on the bell, and it was one of those front AOs. Sent it back to Night Force, and it seized it up in there. And sent it back to Night Force. They completely repaired it and stuff. The bell I got back, it had a little ding in it. They kind of straightened it out with a tool, but I didn't care about that. But they fixed it, because otherwise it was just locked at that parallax. But yeah, the Night Force stuff is spooky good. And I can't remember the number of the reticle, but they got one reticle that's like a floating dot with like a couple of little things around it. That is for what I do shooting off the bench. It's like every time I look through it, it's like, holy shit, man, that's what everybody needs to be making, you know. But yeah, I think real highly of their stuff.
I want to throw something out here. It's totally off the scope topic, but Rustic Rimfire's over here saying that he's got a Night Force Benchrest on his Tika T1X, and I see Rustic Rimfire and Lead Fever and now No Pro. They're all getting on that the Tika T1X bandwagon. They kind of making me want to go out and get one. Have you shot a Tika T1X, Joe?
Yeah, a buddy of mine, Chris, he's got one, and it's nice, man. It'll shoot, and the thing is, a lot of times, like the CZ 457 bull barrels, everyone I've shot will shoot something. It'll shoot something. The T1X, you know, the ones I've shot that shot good really shot, and I haven't shot a bad one. But I just know if I buy one, it's got, okay, yeah, you got one of the turds. You know, I've had a couple of those Ruger, whatever their little RPR.
RPR.
Yeah, and I wouldn't trade somebody a Snickers bar for one. You know, the ones I had, they wouldn't. The best groups they would manage maybe close to an inch at 50 yards. I don't know if I just got two lemons. You know, one of them was used, one of them was new.
I've had two of them that would shoot really good. So
yeah,
like
mine didn't, and it's one of them things. Once bitten, twice shy. Man, I've already bought two. They suck. I'm through with them now. I'm a big fan of Ruger. but I don't need another one of those. I'm not interested in any of the Ruger rimfire stuff after that. Other than everybody in the world's got 1022s,
Right.
but yeah, that showed me all I needed to see, and I just like I say I don't like keep throwing good money at something because I've got my fingers crossed maybe this will be a good one. And no, life's too short for that. And hell, I'm 62, man. I'm on the steep part of the downhill part of my curve. Hell no. The guys are like, hey man, why don't you shoot SK and Lapua and these higher end ammos, man? You should be shooting CCI and Remington and Federal and stuff like that. You can look through I got an ammo box out there, probably weighs 100 pounds. It's nothing but 22 ammo. I think there's probably half a box of CCI green tag. Everything else in there is RWS, Lapua, SK. Cheap ammo is too expensive, man. It just is. You go buy a bunch of cheap ammo, it takes you forever to find one that shoots. Then the next time you buy it, it's nowhere near the same as what you just had. And it's like you end up just, when I was trying it with a couple of my rifles, I was genuinely trying to find a budget ammo that would shoot really good and really consistently. And all I ended up doing was pissing off hundreds of dollars for nothing. By the time it was over, it was just, guys are like, hey man, what about CCI standard? And it's like, Ely Contact shoots better than that for about the same price. SK Standard Plus will shoot just as good for just a little bit more. And our guys are like, well, man, I go through, 3 bricks a week. And it's like, well, maybe you should start masturbating because you're spending time at the range. You need to get some other hobby if you're going through 3 bricks of ammo a week or whatever.
You speaking about a 1022? I picked up a new one today and I already had like 4 of them. So
yeah,
I had to have the new ultralight and I love it. It's 3.5 pounds.
Yeah, and those things are a blast, man.
And the reason I got it is we do a still shoot challenge where you start from a low ready position and you pull up and shoot 5 targets and you're racing the timer.
Yeah.
And you shoot about 15 yards. And I thought, man, that would be a great gun to stick a red dot on top of. And so I took it out today. I just picked it up today. And I put a Vortex red dot on top of it and sighted it in at 15 yards. And that's 5 round groups at 15 yards.
That's getting it. That's getting it.
So
I haven't had a factory one that would do that. And all of mine are good at burning up ammo, but they won't. The only 1022 I got that'll really shoot is that Kid. And then I've got another one that's got like one, I think it's called Green Mountain or Blue Mountain or something.
Green Mountain.
Yeah. It's got one of them barrels on it. And it was actually, man, because I can't remember what I paid for, but it was a real inexpensive barrel. That sucker shoot. And, but I don't know. Like I say, as I've gotten older and get less time to go to I get the thing about having a YouTube channel that's about shooting is you don't get to go out and just shoot for fun that much. When I'm at the range, I've got all my gear, and when I do get to go out and shoot for fun, I want to shoot something that I know is accurate. I don't want to shoot ammo that's gonna 1022s like the Kid. It's such tight tolerances. If you go out and you shoot like them CC or that Remington yellow, whatever it is, it's only going to shoot about 20 times and it's going to start jamming.
Yeah.
It just burns. It's so nasty and stuff. It just fouls it real bad. And that's not even fun to me. It's instead of costing 10 cents every time it went pow, it costs 7. But that don't mean shit.
I went to the range Thursday night and I didn't even take my camera gear with me because I was like, you know what? I want to go shoot and just shoot and not worry about what. But you know what? When you do that, sometimes that's the best time. That's the best shooting you do, and you didn't get it on film. So that sucks.
I've been lucky, man. Some of the best shooting I've done over the last few years, I had the cameras going. But I've had a couple, man. Kenny Desk Precision has sent me a couple of groups, and Josh has too, that they shot off camera It's like, holy crap, man. You know, the day I shot that incredible 100-yard group, before I had the cameras going, I was warming up the gun and was sitting there shooting it. And I shot 3. And if I took that target and laid it against the other one, they were all 8, basically in the same hole. The gun was just shooting incredible. It was in that perfect amount of fouls. You know, there was no wind, no humidity. And that's something I'm having to get used to here at home. The wind could be, you could look up and the clouds are going by like this, but we're shooting in the middle of plantation pines that are thick, so thick you can't hardly walk between them because they're worth so much in timber. So it don't matter how hard the wind's blowing. It's not blowing down here where we're shooting. Here in the Texas Hill Country, the range is on top of a hill. Holy crap, man. If a mosquito farts a half mile away, you know, the targets are out there waving in the wind. It never, ever stops blowing. It never stops blowing here. So that's something that's, you know, I'll get out there, and especially when I know the gun's shooting good, and it's like, holy crap, I wish I was home because I'd be pitching a bitch right now, you know. Yeah. But, you know, shooting in the wind is something I'm having to practice with.
So we try to keep this show around an hour and a half long, and we're going on an hour and 40 minutes. And I noticed that the viewers, the numbers dropping, and the side chat's kind of slowing down. So I guess we'll start closing this thing down. We'll go around the room, and everybody can talk about what they got coming up and share with us, and we'll bring this thing to a close here in a few minutes. So we'll start off. Justin, what you got going on this weekend, buddy?
We got a steel challenge match Sunday. Me and Chad both be shooting it, hopefully. That's about it. Still working on the trap machine. It's not in good shape right now. Probably work on that some tomorrow, maybe, or Sunday morning. So that's about it.
Did you have anything you wanted to add for Joe while we got him on here? Do you have any questions you wanted to ask him tonight? Or
as far as scopes go, he pretty well covered everything. You know, I'd like to learn more about those Blackhound scopes. I've heard of them, but you know, I want to try to research more on those.
Yep. So Minnesota Mike, buddy, what about you? You got anything for Joe, or what you got coming up?
As far as things coming up, I've got, tomorrow I'm gonna go down and set up for the Long Gong match Sunday, and get everything prepared for that.
Did you say long gong or long dong? Because
Long
we are
gong.
seeing the colors behind you, dude. And
Long gong.
I'm here to tell you, man, you're a little suspect, man. A little bit suspect right now.
Hey, I turned the red lights off, okay?
Okay. I hate to be labeling folks, but I mean, come on, dude. Just go ahead and be open about this shit and let us know.
And then that's pretty much all I got is that, and then have the match on Sunday, and hoping to get a few people that have volunteered to help out with that, so I can maybe do some video work, get a couple of drones up in the air, and try to create a good video of that match here. But one thing I did have for Joe that I wanted to ask him was, I watched a video. I'm not going to call out the channel or anything like that, but here about a month ago, where someone was kind of alluding to thoughts that, like, well, there's a couple of, how do you say it? There's like a couple of companies that are making like 4 or 5 different manufacturer scopes, and they're basically the same damn scope. And what his thoughts are on that. So.
Oh no, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
100% true. The actual number of places, there's 100 scope companies, man. There's about 7 or 8 factories. There just is, man. And putting all of us right now, we could start the Kentucky Rimfire group chat scope company if we wanted to. All we need is about $100,000. And you go online, you can look. I used to know the link, but you can go on there and you just put a scope together like with Mr. Potato Head. And those four to 14 by 40s, they have that weird saddle in the middle, that elongated saddle. Yeah, those are all identical. Yeah, there you go. Those all come out of the same company. There's one place in China making that, and yeah, they're all you just put it together how you want. They have the kind of here you can do it from this, and if you want to alter something, like you get to pick your own logos and the way the stuff's etched and stuff like that. You can design your own reticle if you want. But if you want to alter something, like you don't want a 4 to 14, you want a 4 to 22 or some shit like that. Now you got a lot of money. But as long as that's the reason so many of them are so similar. And if you'll notice stuff like when the 5 to 25s hit the market, to the best of my knowledge, the first affordable one was the Athlon minus tag. Within 2 years, there's 5 to 25 by 56s everywhere. The 7 to 35 by 56, that'll be really common within the next couple of years. Now, Night Force paid the money to have that designed, but now this design, they're not coming out of the same factory, but now they paid the design deal. People can use, piggyback off of it.
Reverse engineer it.
And now that's part of their, you can just pick and choose how you put it together. But yeah, if you're talking about Jim from Backfire, but yeah, I agree with most everything he said in there, man. It's now the thing that what he was saying was real broad strokes, and he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't know that much about scopes, but he didn't go into a lot of detail. But even though they may be the same chassis, everything else inside of it, each particular scope company gets to pick what they put in it. So there's a lot of variables to it, man. And I drive a Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Underneath, it's the same frame as the Audi Q8 and the Lamborghini Urus. They're not the same car. They just don't use the same frame, But guys, I'm down to 2% on my iPad. It's fixing to go dead on me, Ben. Guys, thanks so much for having me on. And sorry that I talk so damn much. But I'm stuck here with a bunch of dogs and sitting around saying good girl all day long. It's not as it's a lot more fun talking about hookers and cocaine and and shit.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you being on tonight, man. We had a great time, great show. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for being here, and hopefully we can get you back on again sometime later on.
Okay, and Mr. Blue Sky over here. I'm the next time I say we go for like pussy pink or some type of maybe a semi-gay peach, something in the tangerine color scheme, And there you go. There you go. Is that man liquor on the wall? Holy crap, man!
Yeah, those are some fine whiskeys up there.
Oh, I thought those were perfume bottles, man. Guys, I gotta go, man.
Real quick, Joe, before you go, if you're walking in the woods, you meet Sasquatch, who's going to run first?
Froze up.
I think he's gone.
His phone probably just died.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We had that conversation one time, and anyways, he cracked me up about it.
Well, hey Billy, what about you? What you got coming up, buddy?
Oh man, we got Guns Bearing Therapy tomorrow night, 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern. If you ain't doing nothing, come over and visit us. Always try to have a good time over there, and of course, have some more videos coming out this week. Hopefully, Cooter shows back up this week sometime. But yeah, just having fun, living the dream.
Well, I hated to see that he lost his girlfriend, Cooter. He tried hard. Yeah, guys, come back next week and join us again for Let's Talk Benchrest. I got videos dropping 3 times a week as usual. Like Justin said, I got a steel match that we're going to shoot on Sunday. I may take my cameras with me and try to video that a little bit and get some footage of the new 1022 in action. I'm really digging that thing, 3.5 pounds, and I stuck that little optic on top of it, much to it, and I mean dude, it's going to be a good steel plinking rifle. It's going to be a good squirrel rifle. I mean, you could take that thing through the woods and carry it all day and not get tired. It's awesome. But
That thing
yeah,
being that light, you're gonna have to put your butt pad on the end of it for the recoil.
no, it's all right. It's all right. But I appreciate everybody here on the panel, and I appreciate everybody in the side chat. Guys, we'll see you next week on Let's Talk Benchrest. Say good night, everybody.
Good night,
Night,
everybody.
guys.